So, back front of the VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Hydreigon. We did it. 196 guides later, there is now a guide for every single fully evolved Pokemon that is legal in Series 1 on my channel. Some of them are way out of date and I need to update them, but there is a guide for every single Pokemon. It's finally done. When I first started doing this project, it was just to do every single brand new Pokemon and just do a guide for that. Mainly because I wanted to see what they did for myself so that I would know how to use them in the future. And then there would just be hopefully some benefit for my occasional viewers that would see it as well. Because I've been at, 5,000 subscribers for 2 years and I just didn't grow at all. Mainly because I didn't do many videos because I didn't like Generation 8. But yeah, the growth of the channel has been pretty crazy. I've almost doubled my subscribers because of these guides. I've almost doubled my entire lifetime views of my 6 years, I think it's 6 years, might even be 7 years, of doing YouTube, which is quite crazy. So, these guys have been much more successful than I ever expected. Thank you very much for the support. Let's just finish this off with Hydreigon, and then we are done. So, this is a Pokemon that probably needs no introduction. Definitely an S. It's one of the best in the format, for sure. Probably top 3. No, not probably. Definitely top 3 Pokemon in the format. So, it's very strong. 125 special attack is very good. Paired with Draco Meteor, that's doing some significant damage. The question is, do you want Tailwind or do you want Protect, in my opinion? Because you should probably have Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, and Coverage. Some people run Flash Cannon with Steel Terror typing. I don't think that's the best one. I think that objectively, Fire is the best one on Hydreigon. Because Dragon and Fire is one of the best coverages you can get. In terms of just 2 typings, Dragon and Fire covers each other very well. And then you get the Stab Dark Pulse on top of that. So, I don't think Flash Cannon is worth. I don't think Steel type is worth. It's fine, but I think the Fire is just better. Because, you can hit the Steel super effectively if you have Flash Cannon. Good for you. But you hit them neutrally with a Heat Wave, and you still resist. And it's better offensively coverage-wise. It also is a spread move, so you can hit both of the Pokemon. Flash Cannon would limit you to just going for single target attacks, which isn't the worst thing, but having a spread move is very nice. And then it is just, do you want Tailwind, or do you already have a Murkrow? That's kind of the reasoning there. If you don't have a Murkrow, probably should have Tailwinds. If you don't, you should probably have Protect instead. So that's basically how it goes. Life Orb ones should generally be just max speed, and that's a pretty basic spread. Nothing really to say there. But otherwise, if you are not Life Orb, you're not chipping away at your own HP, then this is a good spread as well. This is also a set that has been picking up purely for Dondozo, but it actually has great synergy outside of the Dondozo, because Focus Energy guarantees the critical hit paired with the Razor Claw. I think the Razor Claw is objectively better than Scope Lens, even though it makes literally no difference, but it has actually come up in a tournament match that Razor Claw was better than Scope Lens, so it just is. Trust me. I'll probably tell the story at some other point. But yeah, Draco Meteor, guarantee critical hits. So it doesn't care about the special attack drops. You go for Focus Energy, and then the downside of Draco is gone. While also getting a Choice Specs boost, effectively Choice Specs boost, on top of that. So this is a very strong set outside of just being a Dondozo check, so that you could just crit through the special defense boosts. Because then you still got your perfect, well, I say perfect coverage, pretty much perfect coverage in Draco Meteor and Heat Wave with the Dragon and Fire. You still turn into a Fire type. Critical hit Fire type attacks, going for a spread attack will be very good indeed. This spreads bulks you out a little bit. In my opinion, I don't think that the speed tie with Hydreigon is particularly worth it. Because you're going to lose it 50% of the time. You're going to lose it 45% of the time because you're going to miss Draco as well. So I prefer, this is just a personal preference, I prefer just surviving the Draco and responding back with a KO. Because this much bulk, if you turn into a Fire type, you live a Life Orb Draco Meteor from another Hydreigon guaranteed. If you have this bulk, it could still KO you, even if you turn into your Terra typing. So this one is able to survive, and it still outspeeds a modest Hydreigon while still being pretty much as offensive as it possibly can be. So this is still very nice. I do like this spread a lot. So yeah, this is one of the sets that's been popping up. Focus Energy is perfectly viable. You can still go with the Choice Spec, so you get effectively the critical hit boost on top of your Hydreigon immediately, but then you get the downside of not getting through the special defense boosts, and your special attack will be dropping to the Draco Meteors. You're going to get an immediate Draco Meteor that's going to KO something, most likely, but then you start to get weaker and weaker, which is one of the downsides as opposed to the Focus Energy critical hit one, but this is immediate. And it also opens up another slot for you to go for a Snarl, which is another spread move, which is going to be useful. It's Dark Stab as well, which is going to be doing okay, actually pretty significant damage with the Snarls, while also doing some support as well in reducing the special attack. So you can definitely drop this for Flash Cannon as well if you are still committing to the Steel type on Hydreigon. It is also pretty reasonable to go with Poison as your Terror typing on Hydreigon, because that resists fighting as well as the Fairy, so you'd be getting rid of resistances, or you're getting resistances to things super effective against you, slightly more than Fire would, but Fire is slightly better offensively, because you could still run Terror Blast as well. Where is Terror Blast? There is Terror Blast. Terror Blast Poison is perfectly fine as well, if you wanted that as the coverage. You could even have that over Heat Wave, but I would probably have that over Snarl if you were going for that. Poison is still viable. I still prefer Fire. Also, Assault Vest is worth mentioning, because then you actually have pretty significant bulk on the special side. Definitely have Snarl when you're on Assault Vest, because then you are stacking your Snarls with the Assault Vest, and then you're going to be very hard to KO on the special side. So being able to lead this into something like Armarouge and Indeedee, you'd be able to just spam Snarls against it, and then they'll be, even if they just go for Follow Me Trick Room, then they are very weak and not making use of the Trick Room. And then they may be forced into just spamming Wide Guards with the Armarouge, and that is not clicking Trick Room. That would free up your other slot to do what it wants. So this is definitely worth mentioning as well, whether you want a 50% boost in your special defense, or you want it in your special attack instead. But yeah, I generally don't like the speed tie. This is perfectly fine. If you want to go for the speed tie, that's fine. But I prefer sacrificing the speed tie, because I just accept I will lose it and survive it instead. So, that is it. That is all of the Pokemon for Series 1 now complete. I did miss out the Pokemon that have Hisuian evolution. So, for example, Ursaring, I didn't do one because that turns into an Ursaluna, and I'm just saving that for when Ursaluna becomes a thing. Because, like, generally those Pokemon that can still evolve, like Startner into Weirdeer, Quillfish into Overquill, I feel like I'm missing one as well. But, yeah, those Pokemon generally aren't particularly worth it. And I'm just saving them for when that guide comes out, because I assume they will at some point, because I will do the guides of brand new series as well. So Series 1 is complete, but when Series 2 is released, I assume there's going to be new Pokemon to do, whether that's the Paradox Pokemon being released, or the Legends, or those Hisuian things, or things from home, or maybe Charizard and Cinderace and all the other ones that are going to be coming out from those kind of raids. I will be doing guides for those Pokemon as they get released, because I have enjoyed doing these guides. They have been more successful than I thought they would be, so I will continue when new Pokemon are released. Thank you so much for all the support for these guides.